Hey, welcome back to Project 365. It's Julie and Corey here with SB Pace, and it's January, so we're talking about disaster planning. Here's the question we're answering today. What are the top 5 things everyone needs to know about disaster planning?
You want me to rattle them all off or go one by one?
Do
So
you?
first of all, it's all about the people. So that includes your team, that includes your customers, that includes your vendors, it includes all people who have something to do with your business. So knowing your people, knowing their strengths, knowing their weaknesses, knowing how you can utilize them, knowing how they need to be communicated to, how they react to all of that. Just knowing your people is definitely the first pillar. Let's call it a pillar.
Let's do it. Let's call it a pillar. I'm going to say you need to understand your financials. You need to know how much cash on hand you have, how much operating cash you need for staying, in business month to month. And I think you need to know how much revenue you're bringing in and how much you need to bring in to stay in business.
Okay. Next one is going to be processes. So understanding all the processes in your business. This is anything, everything that you do that's critical to staying open, critical to keeping the money flowing, and just critical to keeping your doors open. So for instance, if like some sort of disaster hits, sales might not really be a critical process because you can last for a couple of weeks without actually generating any sales, but you need to be able to take care of your team or take care of your building, take care of your vendors, take care of your customers, all that type of stuff. So understanding the process is what's critical and having them detailed out, because then you'll have a better idea of what will break or could break if something goes wrong.
Planning, having a plan, would that be a good one?
Yeah. Obviously, I think that's
Obviously, right? We dedicated an entire section of our book to it. So yes. So having a plan, and this doesn't, I know when we say have a plan for a disaster, I think there's a notion that people think, so am I supposed to be able to plan for any disaster that comes? But I think the reality is yes, I think the reality is you need to know, like having just sort of a template or a generic plan of, how you're going to communicate with people, how you're going to get things back up and running, or at least like figure out like what the steps are that you have to do it. So having a plan is vitally important for having well, it's right in the name for disaster planning. Have a plan.
It's important. Lastly, communication. So having a communication strategy for your team, for your customers, for your vendors, being transparent, being open, and being timely with your communication so that nobody's left surprised about what's going on. So communication is extremely important in disaster planning.
Communication is important in life.
It is. And that's it for today. So we will see you tomorrow with the next topic on disaster planning.